recordings. And we're letting everyone in here. Welcome, everyone. Let's see.
I'm not seeing anybody.
Yeah, seen anyone?
There,
Just gonna
everybody
change
is.
view. How's everyone doing? Good to see everyone.
Thank you for joining us tonight.
Yep.
So you may be working in acrylics. I'm going to be working in oil. You will get similar effects, but each one will have its own challenge. If you're used to using acrylic, then you'll understand that. Kind of my process is make a mess and then edit it. And as we start painting, you'll see that it's kind of a fun way to paint. It's an easy way to paint. And just like Bob Ross said, you end up with some happy accidents. So there's a lot more expressiveness in this style of painting. And there's really no wrong way of doing it. The most important thing to understand is that you are the one that's going to be editing it. That means your standards of what you like and don't like. All right. So if you are joining us for the first time, you might be thinking it will be a paint along, but instead what we're going to try to do is get you to paint off your own intuition. Kind of crazy, right? So what we try to do at the classes is make it fun, challenge everybody a little bit, and get them to understand that art, there's no rules with art. Art is basically what you can get away with, and that means what you can get away with. And so that's how we're going to approach this. So you will be the one that makes the judgment calls. I'm going to simplify some of the way I use color. And if I'm describing a color, don't worry if you have that exact same color. Don't worry if you have your colors, the shades, all of that is off from what I'm doing. Again, we're going to paint this painting based on principles, on ideas, on the power of suggestion. And when it all comes together, using your intuition, we should have a fantastic painting. So I know Jake has a few announcements. Hey Jake, what shirt are you wearing?
I'm wearing something. That's another project we're working on that we haven't released yet, but it's
my self-portrait.
Yeah, self-portrait, double chin.
The name of the painting is Double Chin.
Yeah. So if you're like Jeff said, it's just your first time joining one of our classes, we just kind of give you a few reminders at the beginning of the class. If you're not familiar with Jeff and his painting, he's been painting professionally for about 20 years. And then also, so that's his credentials. And then so specifically for these meetings, we just keep everyone muted just because of the size, to keep them orderly and keep us on track and going at a good pace. But if you do have any questions, feel free to use the chat feature in Zoom here, and I'll be paying attention to those. If there's a question that pops up, I'll be there to see it, either respond to it or to ask Jeff if it's a specific question. We do record these classes, so we're recording this class, and we'll have it The reason we do that is some have to log off early or only can join for the second half or whatever it is, or just can't join. So we post them to YouTube. We actually haven't posted the last two because I had to edit them, but those will be posted this week. That includes
Things
this
get pretty
one also.
wild, huh?
Things get pretty crazy. So
Okay.
I got to edit out the, yeah. Yeah. And I think that's it. Yeah. Oh yeah, and just mention about our coming up this Sunday, if you're interested. Our 8-week course starts this Sunday, so you can sign up for each individual class, which each of them has a theme. So like color theory is one of the themes of the first 2 classes, and then also you can sign up for it in full. So obviously signing up for it in full is a little bit cheaper than signing up for each individually, but just throwing that, mention that because that's starting in about 1 week here. So that's enough of me. Oh, we got one question. What colors can I mix to make Indian yellow? Interesting.
So basically, so Indian yellow is a transparent color. So you're going to want to, if you have an ochre and maybe an ochre or an orange, which is going to shade your lemon yellow or cadmium yellow light down a little bit. Or if you have just a small amount of black or brown, will make something similar to an Indian yellow. So the reason we're going to paint this way is, like Jake said, I've been painting for 20 years. This is kind of what made sense to me in painting. So everybody is going to paint differently, and that's what makes art great. So this process, the reason I want to express this is it made sense to me, but it wasn't what I thought art was. So I looked at other artists and I said, that's what real art is. What I'm doing is basically making a mess on the canvas. Well, that mess has been supporting me. So the idea is paint what makes sense to you. So each one of us is going to paint differently. And at the end of the class, you're going to see that everybody painted a completely different picture, but you'll notice that they all turn out amazing. And that's because we are going to approach this with the idea of you being the one that's editing everything. So maybe this is your first time or you're just getting started in painting. Throw out all the rules that you think art is, all the standards that you think art is, and we're going to simplify it to this point. Art is taking, as far as painting, taking paint from our palette and putting it onto the canvas. We're going to move it around a little bit and edit it based on if it looks good or not. It's that simple. All right, so let's just go through a couple things with the sunflowers. If you want to draw, you can, but when we think of a sunflower, it's round, kind of has a center spot right here, and it has all these petals coming out from it, right? And we can keep going, but you get the idea. So there's our basic sunflower, but we want to mix it up a little bit. We're going to keep abstracting it. So we're going to simplify it. So basically, we're going to get down to a circle and a mess around it. And we will kind of create some abstract center button there. But that's really what we want to do. We'll have a stem. They got big leaves. So that's pretty simple. A circle, make a little mess inside, and we can either come, let me try this. with our palette knife, we neither come towards it or away from it, the center. So it's that easy. One of the cool things is once we start painting, when we put up our initial sunflowers, this is where our editing comes into place, because we have to feel the balance in the painting. Now, what do I mean by that? Let me bore you with a couple things. If we have all the same going across, we can make it work, but again, it just doesn't feel good. So what we're going to try to do is create a variety. If you've seen a field of sunflowers, they kind of line up pretty good. But the sunflowers I'm thinking of are the ones that are around late summer, and we usually see them in the ditch. And they're about half the size of the sunflowers. So we're gonna, this is what,
When you get a sec, Jeff, I have just a couple of questions that were here in the chat.
all right. So I just did that because now there feels like there's more of a balance to it. We have a big sunflower and then smaller ones dotted around. And it just kind of brings a balance to it. Kind of, if you imagine scales, when you add a weight, it goes down, you add some weight on the other side and it kind of brings it back up. That's kind of what we have to do intuitively. And it is something that's, we train ourselves to learn it. But if you have your cell phone or a handheld mirror, look at, as we paint, look at your painting through your cell phone camera or with that handheld mirror. Both of those options are going to help you look at the painting and see the balance, that intuitive balance in there. It'll tell you if it's off balance, if it's pulling too far one direction or pushing your eye the other way. If you do feel that push, let's say we have all of our flowers are going this way. So our eye is going this direction, right? So what we have to do is start figuring out what can we do to balance that out a little bit. All right, so there you go. Hopefully that made sense. I'm gonna put it back on. So should we start painting? Give me a thumbs up if you're ready to start painting. All right, perfect. I only saw one person put a thumbs up, but oh, there's two people. All right, so Jake mentioned the color theory classes that we're going to have for the course. The things that we're going to touch on tonight will just be basically briefly touching on them. The course is actually, the idea behind it is to go more in depth. And color, usually when a person is starting to paint, color is the biggest challenge. There's some things, there's a million color theories, and it's just going to be the process of learning them. However, these 2-day classes that we start the course out with, right away, you're going to understand how color works and now be able to start creating your own color theories. So just to give you an example, Anders Zorn, a Swedish artist. He painted with 3 colors. It was ochre yellow, vermilion red, or cadmium red light, similar, and black, ivory black. Those were his 3 colors. Ochre, there's vermilion, and ivory black, and then of course white. But if you look at his paintings, you would think that he was using every color imaginable. And so what we're going to do tonight, in a similar fashion, we're going to just use a few basic colors. And this forces us to recycle the same color, mix it up a little bit. If with green, we're going to make a few different greens. And what this allows is for a harmony in the painting. So a few colors, but we'll have an endless color varieties in our painting. All right, so the 3 primary colors, one is magenta. So in theory, you should be able to make any color from these 3 colors. But you sometimes go through a lot of paint, mixing paint, to find that right color. But tonight we'll just we'll stick with these 3 primaries. So the 3 primaries, we can make every color. So if you think about it, we take our, I'm going to narrow it down to red and yellow. We mix them together, we get orange. Yellow and blue mixed together, we get green. And of course, red and blue mixed together, we get purple. So, and then we can keep adding color endlessly, creating endless amounts of color. Those are the 3 primaries. However, if you've taken the class before, you know that one of my favorite colors is Indian yellow. So the question was asked, so it kind of looks like an orange. So if you have this color, you could, especially if you're using lemon yellow, that lemon yellow is transparent. So it has a lot of pigment, but it's a transparent pigment. So if you're using lemon yellow, just add a little bit of that magenta into it. So then we have magenta. I'm using cadmium yellow light, cyan blue, Indian yellow, and then my other favorite color is cadmium red light.
All right, there's a question here from a few minutes ago. It says, I think it was in reference to someone had asked what colors to make Indian yellow. And they said, I have light, mid, and orange yellow. Which would be the closest?
Probably the orange yellow.
Orange yellow.
Yep.
Okay. And then someone said, I have process yellow. Will that work?
Ooh, process yellow.
Is that?
Is it more towards this color, process yellow, or is it more towards the Indian yellow?
Maybe I'm not saying that right, but
any yellow will work. I should put it that way. If you have red, blue, and yellow, you'll be able to do just fine in the class. All right. So notice that in the class list, it has black, and that's okay if you want to use black. However, we can create our own black, and it'll actually be more of a natural black. but everybody will be using different paints. And if it doesn't go dark enough, add just a little bit of black in there. So the black that I really like is the cadmium red light and little blue. Look at it and almost see it almost as a dark, dark gray. All right, so I'm going to actually make a little bit more.
I have another quick question here, Jeff. It's says, how do I mix for magenta?
If you have red, just go ahead and use red. Since magenta is the primary color, there's no colors that you can use to create it. It's the red that's been boiled down into its basic color. So really, and actually now is a good time to make this comment. When you're looking at the colors, we're thinking red, blue, yellow, right? Orange, green. Start thinking more dynamic. We're going to think of our colors as more dynamic. Blue, we're going to think of it as cool. So in painting, cool actually recedes backwards in the painting. Yellow is obviously warm. Indian yellow is warmer. Here's blazing hot. But what's funny is red can actually be used in a painting and it'll be cooler than the yellow. So we'll have to do some experimenting. So think of it as, here we have a dark color and a light color. Here's obviously white. So you want to, this is darker than this color. This one's darker than that color. To get my black, I take my two darkest colors, mix them together, and I get black. So look at the colors. Think of them as cool, as light, dark. Just make a comparisons to other colors on there. So now we're using more colors just by having that thought process. All right. So as we're going through and you kind of hit a roadblock, ask yourself, what can I do to the color? Can I lighten it? Can I darken it? We're going to get into the grays and the power of grays. Grays are our best friend in a painting. These muddy colors, they're the supporting actors in our play. We have our main characters, but all of our grays that we're going to mix, these are going to be supporting actors. They're going to be in the background, but they're really going to enhance our main colors. All right. So that's a little secret in making a painting fantastic. All right. So we have this black here, but it's really a gray. And when I add a little white to it, you can see it's a very cool gray. All right, so if I wanted to warm that up, I add a little bit more warm colors. So now I have a warmer gray. So we're going to keep pulling from our main gray right here and adding it to almost every color. All right. So that was just to give you an idea of what we can do with that basic color mixture. All right. So we have let me get rid of this. All right, so here's our canvas, and we're going to start thinking about getting paint onto that canvas. When you look at it, right away it's intimidating because it's just white canvas, right? So how can we get past that? If you have you can take your palette knife and do it, or if you have a brush, just go through. We just want to cover all of that white canvas. So if you're using a palette knife, just keep going, scraping it on there. And if you have mineral spirits, if you have water, just water it down a little bit. And get rid of all of that white.
Hey, Jeff, once you're done with that, could you just readjust the camera a little bit?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, just it's not terrible or anything, but just to get a little bit closer.
There we go. All right, so where would you like it?
Are you able to put it closer and a little bit pointed a little bit more to the left? If that makes sense. Like you can kind of put it off to the side a little bit, if that works.
How's that?
That's perfect. Yeah.
There we go.
Do you still have enough space?
Yep.
All right.
Every once in a while, you might see this though. That's just my foot getting in the way.
Thanks for the warning.
All right, so we talked earlier about that balancing act, trying to find the balance in the painting. There was an artist, Hoffman. He was an abstract artist during the 40s and 50s and 60s, I believe. He taught art out in Berkeley, California. And if you read stories about him, his students always said he talked in nonsense. And one of the things that he talked in nonsense about was push and pull in a painting. And so the idea is you want to be pushing the viewer's eye in directions and then pulling it. So let's say we push it over here and there's a big weight right here. Well, now we have to do something over here to balance it out. So we pushed it over here and now we're going to pull it over here. This is one of the best ways, again, using your camera or a handheld mirror, it'll help with this process. But the other thing that we might not have the luxury of having is time where we stand up, walk away from the painting and observe it from 6 to 8 feet away. If you can do that, try to do it every 10 minutes or every 5 minutes. You really want to stand back from your painting and make judgments from that 6 to 8 feet away. Why? Well, imagine going to an art gallery or to a museum. How far away are you standing from the art? It's 6 to 8 feet. So when we are up close, we're seeing all of it in parts. When we stand back, we see the painting as a whole. And that's how we want, actually, that's how viewers are going to look at it also. They're going to look at it as a whole, or we look at it in parts and we start critiquing those little parts. And pretty soon we don't like our painting. All right, so I'm going to grab a little bit more red over here. I don't know if you can see that. I have a nice warm mud color, really like a coffee brown, a dark coffee brown. All right, so I'm going to start out by placing my main flower, and I'm just going to put it right here. Don't worry about having it perfect. Remember, we're going to edit our painting. So one of the things that I always talk about is do not like your painting. Soon as you start liking your painting, that's where you're going to start fidgeting, and you're going to over fidget and ruin the painting. So in the very beginning, be willing to, or just say to yourself, I'm going to throw this painting away. I have no love for this painting. Matter of fact, I'm confident it's going to turn out ugly, and I just don't care. Now, as we start going through the process, eventually, we're going to start coming to a point where we're starting to see it come together, and we're going to start liking the painting. And that's where we're going to just do small adjustments on it to finish it off. That's when we can love the painting. And the best way to think about it is, imagine building a house. The guy that comes in with a bulldozer, he does not care where you're going to place the pillow on the couch in your house when it's completed. He just comes in there to move earth around, right? The guys that pour the foundation, start building the walls, they're not thinking about your favorite pillow going on the couch. Now, when it gets to painting the walls, now a little bit of consideration is starting to come into play. At this point, we're starting to like our painting. And of course, the carpet goes in, all of that comes together. And at the very end, we put the couch in place and we set the pillow on there. Now the house is complete, or our painting is complete. We're happy with it. So in the very beginning, we're just making a mess, okay? No, matter of fact, if you want to kind of feel your way through the painting, you can kind of so I got 7 sunflower heads up there, and they go with the odd number because even is boring. So you want to go odd. It just creates a little tension in the painting and makes it more interesting. So let's fill in some of those. Again, don't care. Break my palette knife around, kind of create a mess. Matter of fact, why don't we put in a little bit of dark color down here? All right, so you saw how messy I painted that, but I have to ask you, are you starting to see sunflowers in there? Are you able to start, if you're looking at your canvas or my canvas, are you starting to imagine that they are going to be sunflowers? So put yourself in that field of sunflowers. Maybe you're driving through South Dakota in season for sunflowers, and there are sunflowers everywhere. So you kind of got to picture yourself being there. I don't know, I can see flowers in my painting. The power of suggestion. The power of suggestion is greater than the statement of reality. How many people believe that? So I say this every class, but this is such a cool example. We want to leave out all the details and just suggest the flowers. So what do we get? We get the viewer finishing the story or finishing the painting in their mind. And what did we do? We got them involved in the painting. If we painted them realistic, we just told the whole story, and the person looks at it and they admire our skill in creating perfect sunflowers. But let me give you an example that drives this point home. Ernest Hemingway. And I love this story. So Ernest Hemingway was mocked. He was made fun of. Critics said he's a simpleton. He writes simple stories with simple words. One critic says you don't need a dictionary to read a Hemingway book. But we know that he's considered one of the greatest American writers. So he knew this criticism about him. And he said to a group of his buddies, if I can make you guys cry with 6 words, I want $10 from each one of you. And then his friends kind of laughed and said, all right, get out their $10. So he comes back to them, and here's the 6 words: for sale, baby shoes, never worn. For sale, baby shoes, never worn. In reality, he told a huge story, a long novel, just with those 6 words. As we hear that, we fill in all the details, right? And it's a sad story. We're involved mentally and emotionally because it's just such a powerful story. But again, 6 words. So with our suggesting of sunflowers, that's what we're trying to do. We're going to leave out all the details and let the viewer fill in the details, and they get involved. Hopefully that makes sense. To me, it's such a cool concept because Hemingway, the critics mocked him, but that guy was a genius. And he knew that simple things told more of a story. All right. So I have my basic sunflowers up there. I just want to get some green on there just to kind of counterbalance what's happening. Again, I'm going to grab some of my mud, mix it in with my green, tones it down just a little bit. All right, is anybody seeing sunflowers yet? I'm suggesting sunflowers. Is anybody seeing sunflowers in my painting? When you first look at it, so look at it with, if you can see it up close, it's just a mess. But now I'm starting to suggest the idea of sunflowers, and I'm getting your brain working when you look at my painting. So right now I'm basically just telling you that there's supposed to be sunflowers, and your brain's saying, okay, yeah, I can kind of see that. So we're going to keep working that process. We're going to keep suggesting the sunflowers until in our minds and in the viewer's mind, they look like real sunflowers. All right, let's start from the bottom and we'll work up. All right, so we know that it's going to be sunny. We know that the sun's going to be hitting the sunflowers up here. So we're going to go down to the bottom where very little sun is getting to. All right, so what color would suggest no sunshine? Throw it in the chat if you. Excellent. Black. But I don't have any black on my canvas. So what colors can I use to? Green. Perfect. So I have a little bit of green on there, but I want to cool it down a little bit. Mud, dark, oh, purple's good. Mud, So right away, I'm gonna think mud, but I'm gonna use blue to cool it down. Blue, and we can even say that purple. So let's make some more green. Let's throw a little bit of magenta in there. I don't know if you can see this. Here's all, it's all mud. But we have a warm mud, and now we have a cool mud. We're still pulling from the same colors up here. So we're keeping color harmony. Does that make sense? So basically we're taking our colors, we're rotating them, pushing, using them in different amounts. And when I add more blue, it cools down our mud. So it's leaning towards the green right now. So let's just see if it works in our painting. So do you know what I have to say about this? I have to quote Bill Withers. Ain't no sunshine in the painting. If you've taken the classes before, you know that my only goal in the class is to get Jake laughing.
Well, it's working. Yeah. I'm glad we got that on recording also.
This is where the bribery and blackmail comes in.
Yeah. That's right.
So a lot of people fight greens. Like if they're doing a landscape painting and they're adding green, they're adding a yellow green, they're adding a blue green, they're adding green, phthalo green, sap green, but they just can't make it come to life. The secret is add a little bit of red in some of the greens. So what you're doing is toning down and connecting the painting with the other colors that are in the painting using red. So it just makes the greens come to life. Remember, so green and red are complements. When you add them together, they create mud. So what we're doing is we're just keeping the painting unified. We're toning down the green, and we're using those supporting actors to make our clean greens come to life. So I have a green in here. Let's call it green, even though I added just a little bit of red to it. But then I took that same green, added some magenta to it. So now this, and more blue. So now it made it darker and cooler. So that works perfect for our shadows where no sunshine is reaching that area. Of course, there will be a little bit of sunshine coming through. So when we get through going with the painting, we'll kind of do some things like this. Allow that sunshine to come down. So what I use for paint, I use oil paint. I work with acrylics also, but I use Lucas paint. You can only get it through Jerry's Artorama. And what's cool about it is two things. They add beeswax to it, which helps it make it more buttery and dries faster. But also it's the company that Van Gogh used. So when he bought paints, this is the paint he was buying. But the really cool thing about it is that it's high pigment and inexpensive. So as you'd notice, we use a lot of paint. Well, that can add up really quick if we're using expensive paints. So one cool thing with Lucas paint, it is a high quality paint, but it's going to be about a third the price, maybe when it's on sale, even better than that with other paint companies. You can only get it through jerrysartorama.com. They do have some brick and mortar stores on the east and down in Florida, but the prices go back up a little bit. They're more competitive with other companies. But if you order it online, they keep their prices really low. And they have watercolors, they have acrylics, gouache, and oil paint. So fantastic paint. I'm a big believer in it. I buy a lot of paint, but I buy as much as I can afford at the lowest price. So now I'm able to get a good quality paint, but inexpensive. All right, so as we start coming up, we are going to start having warm sunshine affect our green, right? So think of the white as adding sunshine, but it's also a cold. So we want to warm it up. Let's grab a little bit of our yellows.
All right, when you get a sec, Jeff, we got a couple questions here. Someone was wondering if you could demonstrate the swiping down for the sunlight a little slower.
Oh, sure. From when I scraped it. So I just took the end of my palette knife and just scraped the very tip of it.
And then someone else was wondering. Oh, I saw Lucas paints have a water-soluble oil paint. Have you ever used it?
I have not used the water-soluble oil paint. It's nice because, as you can see, I'm wearing gloves, and all paint really has, a chemical in it that we have to be careful of, whether it's the pigment or the binder medium. One nice thing with the water base is that you can actually use water rather than mineral spirits for cleanup. However, it does take just as long to dry. You'd think because it's water based that it would dry faster, but not really. All right, so I really like that green that I had right there, and I want to use it down below and kind of have it be a connector for the lighter color. And here's a cool thing. Remember, we're talking about the power of suggestion and making it look like it's something when it's not. The supporting characters. I'm just taking paint. I can scrape it around. I can do whatever I want. Making a mess on here. And when the painting's done, this will all make sense in the viewer's eye. Because it goes to the background and it becomes background noise. So we'll have some aspects of the painting that will definitely look like sunflowers, but we want to do a lot of mess in there too, because that mess, it's kind of cool in creating it. It's suggesting all of that, all those leaves, all those stems, whatever other plants are in the field, that's all hidden in there and suggested. But once we're done with the painting, all of that background noise comes in and it supports the main sunflower heads. So if you get a chance, just try it. It's really a cool process that happens. All right, so now I'm going to add a little bit of white. Grab a little bit of my mud. All right, did you see how I applied the paint there? Not once did I paint a leaf. All I did is pick up paint and kind of put it at an angle and dragged it. All right, now is it starting to look like a field of sunflowers? Can you see sunflowers in my painting yet? So I haven't painted any sunflowers yet, but in the back of my mind, subconsciously, I'm painting sunflowers, but I haven't painted sunflowers. I haven't painted any leaves. All I've done is make a mess, but it's starting to come together, and we're starting to see at least a little bit of sunflowers in there. All right, so I think what we need to do is jump up from here and let's go to the sky. All right, so when we make a light blue for the sky, that light color is going to affect everything else in the painting, because that's going to be the color of the intensity of the light, right? So I'm just going to use a little bit of blue and a lot of white. I'm actually grabbing just a little hint of my green, or my mud, I should say, to tone down my blue sky. Need some more white. So why am I adding a little bit of my mud into my sky? It's easier to understand if we think of a sunset or a sunrise. Imagine one of those times where you've seen a sunset that is so red, and there's oranges and pinks up there. What happens to the rest of the horizon? Everything that we're looking at, the trees, the buildings, they're all affected by that red tone, right? So really, when I create my mud, I'm creating my atmosphere, because it's going to affect all of my colors in the painting. So this is, again, this is just one of the color theories, but it creates a harmony in the painting. So now I have that mud color, or my atmosphere color tone, and it's running throughout the whole painting. Does that make sense? Cool. Again, just a color theory. There's all kinds of them, but it's that kind of thing that allows us to master color. So I'm going around the center of the sunflowers up here. Not worrying too much. I'm gonna notice I come down into the green a little bit, but I'm staying away from the center of the flower there. If I get some paint on it, what I'll do is I'll take that color that just blended together and bring it down into my grasses. So subconsciously, I have a blue that it has green in it. So subconsciously, it connects the green and the blue together as if the sunshine is coming down through the leaves. So don't wipe off your palette knife if you get that happening. Just bring it down into the grass area. All right, now are you seeing sunflowers in my painting? Is it starting to come together? So I haven't painted any sunflowers yet, but what are you seeing come out of my painting? So it's just that suggestion. Remember that suggestion is more powerful than the statement of reality. So at this point, I can see where my sunflowers are at. And now I can start making, you could even say you can start liking your painting at this point. Because now I'm going to start doing things that are actually promoting the idea of sunflowers. So I've created this background mess. So now I can say, okay, the foundation is there, things are in place in their proper order, proper balance in there. Now I can start suggesting the petals and more light in the greenery. Should I slow down a little bit? Okay, I'll take a. So again, it's really important. Do not like your painting yet. Just be throwing paint on the canvas, not with carelessness, where if your palette knife catches, it flings it onto the ceiling or onto the cat. So you want to have a little bit of control, but you also want to get that paint on the canvas and just make a mess. Imagine being in that field of sunflowers, and that greenery is going in every direction. So imagine trying to paint that realistically. It's going to take a lot of effort. So now what we're doing is just suggesting it, but with the sloppiness, controlled sloppiness, obviously. But it just adds, it's all those little happy accidents Bob Ross mentioned that like when I brought this blue down that was mixed with my green, I didn't realize how it was going to allow the sky and the atmosphere of it to come down further past the sunflowers. But you can see that it seems to work. This process, you can actually keep going with it and create a realism, even though you're painting with such a mess. I've been able to paint people, animals. Most of my painting is done in this process, but I'll just keep pushing it further and further to get a realism out of it. When you're up close, obviously you see just a mess. But as you stand back and everything comes together, then it creates the realism. If you're familiar with the artist Chuck Close, he did it with color, little blobs of color. So up close, all it was little abstract paintings. But when you stand back, it would come together and it would be hyper realistic, like to the point where you think it's a photograph. Yeah, if you get a chance, Google his images. But that's how Chuck Close used the painting process to fool people. And I think Andy Warhol said, art is whatever you can get away with. So in a lot of ways, we're con artists. We're creating something on the canvas that looks or suggests that it looks good. Hey, Jake, can you pull up a picture of some of Chuck Close paintings?
Yep.
They had so we're in Minneapolis, and they had at the Walker Art Center, they had probably a 30 or 40 foot tall painting of his. So when you walk past it up close, you just saw this big abstract painting. Well, all of a sudden you start walking away from it and you look at it from about 30 or 40 feet away, and it is hyper realistic. It was just crazy to see how all those colors came together and became created a realism.
There we go.
Yeah, that's a self-portrait of his. I don't know if you can zoom up close.
Kind of see the.
Yeah, all it is, look at his nose, the tip of his nose.
There you kind of see it right there.
There's other varieties too where, yeah, look at his ear. All he used was little colors, square colors. Pretty amazing what you can create with abstraction. He even took this idea and abstracted it further. So his paintings become very abstract, yet you see the image clearly. You'll have to Google some of his paintings.
can you see the comments, Jeff? Just curious.
No.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Are people making fun of me?
yeah. I just
Oh,
want to make sure.
that.
Someone just put I don't know how you pronounce that, but like they said like pointillism.
Oh, Petals. Yep. Yeah. So who was that? Surratt that kind of started that, and just by little dots of color, you could take these three colors just by using little dots and create every color. It's kind of like a printer. When you zoom up on the printer, you break it down and it's just those basic colors. All right, so how's everybody doing? Actually, if you're caught up, take the time to step away from it. Maybe look at it through the camera lens and ask yourself, have a conversation with your painting. And it sounds weird, but the conversation needs to go something along these lines. What do I like about you? What don't I like about you? And the painting responds by saying, hey, all of the center of the sunflowers are lined up and they all look like they're in a row. All right, so then should I take and make some other spots, other round blobs, creating a variety? Yes, that's what will make it more interesting. My grasses are very non-eventful. So can I create some lighter colored greens? Can I create some cooler colored greens, warmer colored greens? Where would they go in the painting? Where would the cooler greens go? Maybe the turquoise colors. Would they be up in the sun or would they be down below? So it's those kinds of questions that you keep asking yourself, and the painting will tell you what it needs. And one of the best ways of really having that conversation is sitting back and just taking it in, letting your eyes wander around the painting. Glass of wine always helps. But if you start hearing the painting talking to you and you're now thinking the next step in life is to cut off an ear, that's where we want to stop.
Yeah, we had an incident with Jeff.
Yeah. Little duct tape holds the ear right back on.
Yeah.
A couple staples.
Staples.
So if I stand back from my painting and look at it, again, I'm about 8 feet away. Is it making sense to me that it is sunflowers? Can I imagine them in there? And so when I come up to actually apply paint, I've already made the decision what I'm going to do. And so I'll come up, I'll add the paint, then I'll step back my 6 to 8 feet, see if it worked. If it did, I'll leave it. If it didn't work, then I know that I need to come up and make an adjustment. But really, that observing the painting, having that mental conversation with it, that should be about 90% of the process. So this is one of the hazards. All right, let's say we get a green. And you put it on there and you look at it and you think, well, that was good, so I'm going to make it better. And so you keep doing this. And what was initially good now has turned into something that looks overworked. So really go up there, apply the paint, and leave it. If you step away and you look at it and you think, oh, that doesn't work, then come up and make an adjustment on it. If you haven't stepped away from your painting, just walk a few feet away from it. Just look at it. See if it's working. You're fired. So, all right, so let's say you don't like your painting right now. That's why it's important to step away from it, look at it, and ask, what is it that I don't like? Let the painting tell you what it is.
All right, someone mentioned I can't make the yellow around the flower without getting it mixed in with the other colors.
One thing that you want to learn in using the palette knife, and we are going to have one of the classes for the 8-week course on using a palette knife and a brush and how to get the best effects out of them. Because you'll see paintings and you admire the brush work. The brush work is so beautiful, but then it just contributes to the beauty of the painting. So learning how to use a brush, learning how to use a palette knife is going to improve your paintings considerably. So here's a little secret. If you're using a palette knife, hold on to it with the tips of your fingers. And the reason why is that imagine so look at how close I can use the whole blade when I hang onto it like this. If I'm hanging onto it with like a knife, now I'm going to start dragging my knuckles through the paint below it. So you also have better control hanging onto it this way. I can move it back and forth easily. I can use both edges easily. Yeah, it's just a little secret in using that palette knife, making it work for you.
All right. I think Lena wants to show you her painting.
Or not Lena. Every time her painting turns out better than mine.
Let's see here. Oh, are you able to scroll through Jeff on the board view? Okay.
Get a close up of my. Yeah, a second. I knew it. Lena's better than mine again. Lena, you're teaching the class next week. If you're going to keep painting that nice. Nice job. All right, so how's everybody doing? Now that we're going to start painting the petals, as you can see, we already have a nice warm color in the background, so we're halfway there. But at this point, we can use pure color. And so what I mean by that is we're not going to add any mud to it. So these are our main characters in our play. So we have all of the colors, all of those yellows already in there in the painting. And so now they're going to be the supporting actors carrying the pure yellows that we're going to put on for the petals. So, and everything is connected. Everything is harmonious because we just kept recycling the same colors. We used an atmosphere color that influenced everything and created a harmony. So now we can put in our main colors. Again, we're going to want to kind of jump between a light yellow to a medium yellow and a dark yellow. So what do I mean by that? Let's start out. Actually, I'm going to start out with a little bit of orange. That cadmium red is very strong. There we go. All right, so this is going to be darker than my other yellows. Also, I use cadmium red light. We described it earlier as flaming hot, but now we're going to use it to be a cooler color than the. Bye, Lena. Now we're going to use it as a cooler color in comparison to our warm yellows. So I'm going to go around. Again, I'm not trying to be perfect with it. I'm not going all the way around on every one of them. So it's almost the color of a peach, but it's still a warm reddish yellow. And yours doesn't have to be exactly that. Matter of fact, if you wanted, you could actually add just a little bit of the atmosphere color in with your yellow. That's completely going off of what I'm doing, but that's what I'm hoping you will do, is just try to try experiments to see what works. Both ways will work. We've done all the groundwork up to this point. So we can get away with so much right now just because we did all that legwork or groundwork ahead of time. So for my second color for the petals, I took Indian yellow and white. So I had Indian yellow in my darkest peach color. So now I'm going pure Indian yellow, pure white. And you will notice that that is sunshine. Oh, here's a little warning. It's easier to start in the background with the flowers back there and work towards it. And don't be afraid of having your color go over background flowers. That'll help create the depth. So you can kind of see this one's buried behind the other flowers. This one right here. So don't be afraid to, you can see this one's behind this one and this one. So that's, again, tricking the mind, making it look like there's some depth to the painting. Hey, Jake, is there anything exciting coming up in the store on our website?
Wait. You're slightly out of frame, Jeff. Oh, I don't have that camera pinned right now. Oh, there you go. I don't know. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Good one, Jeff.
Shameless promotions.
That was good. Very subtle.
If you're caught up and you want to try something, the center of the sunflowers, I like using the dark center. But if you look at study sunflowers, you'll realize that there's a variety of shades that they come in. Sometimes they're orange, sometimes they're brown, sometimes they're green and even yellow. And so it's really up to you. I like using the dark center because it kind of becomes an anchor for the painting. It creates a little drama in the painting, just like our bottom down here creates that drama, kind of an anchor for the rest of the painting. So if you want, grab a little bit of the cadmium red light. Basically, you're going to create a little lighter brown. There we go. So after I put that in there, then I actually grabbed some blue, added it to that color. And all I did is I went inside the sunflower and just did a little hook, either over the hook or down below. A J hook if you're a Boundary Waters fan and you canoe. So you don't even have to go make a perfect circle, just the suggestion of something in there. Of course, if you want, you can even go lighter. Create a little bit of a purple. So this is what I'm gonna do, just because I'm always thinking about the color harmony. I just grabbed that gray blue that I put in the center. I'm just gonna throw some down here randomly, kind of create some stems with it. It's very subliminal, but it, again, it contributes to that idea of color harmony, or the harmony in the painting, I should say. And I'm getting away with something because nobody can tell me that I can't do it. So I get to have a little fun. So why does it work? I'm taking a cool color. Remember, this is just background noise down here, and it's cooler than the colors that I already have there. So it's, again, it's just creating subliminal background noise in the painting. And once it's all done, the center of attention is going to be the sunflower heads, and everything down below is just support for the painting. All right, so for my final yellow, I took a little bit of Indian yellow light, a little bit of cadmium yellow light, and some white, and I made a nice marigold color. So here is definitely a color that's going to be in the sun. I just saw a message saying it's getting late and they were going to check out. I didn't get to see who it was, but thank you so much for joining. And again, we will have this video up on YouTube, so you'll be able to see the whole video. So you want to see something really crazy? Remember I said we can get away with almost anything at this point? Cadmium red light is obviously a very strong color, and it's not really in the painting, even though it is. But we have the supporting characters in there. So I'm just going to I'm not going to let it fight with the green. All it is I'm going to put it in with the green, and it's going to create a little interest, almost like the sunshine's being filtered through the greenery, and a prism effect takes place, and out comes a bright color. So I'm just going to come in just very lightly. So you can't even see it. Can you see the red that I put in there? All right, I'm gonna go up close with it. Have to now can you see that red in there? Oh, I hear my painting talking to me, and it needs just a little bit something right there. Again, I never painted sunflowers tonight. All I did was suggest the idea of sunflowers. And so it's kind of abstracting the mind, abstracting our painting process. And in that process, what we're trying to do is make marks that contribute to the suggestion. Going back to Ernest Hemingway, we're leaving out tons of details, and now we're letting the viewer finish the story. Because now that I moved my camera up close, nobody can see that I'm sneaking a piece of chocolate. Unless you're looking at the other camera.
I knew there was a reason.
Oh, busted.
Looks like Bridge was wondering if he can show the painting here. Let me find it. I guess if you were able to find it once you're ready, Jeff.
Yeah. Give me 1 second. Oh, nice. Look at that. All right. I don't know if anybody can see what they did. If you go to the multi-view. Imagine walking into an art gallery. I could easily see those hanging on the wall. Are you using oil or acrylic? You might have to type it in, yeah. Oh, nice. Nice control of the colors. Yeah, beautiful. Michelle, perfect. Very beautiful. Look at how different are you using oils or acrylics? Acrylics? Nice. You get a completely different feel of completely different style of painting. Yet you painted the exact same thing as everybody else. So why this is cool is because, you know, there's a billion paintings of sunflowers. And so we all just have to kind of interpret it our way. And so what we did is we painted this painting based on principles and ideas and the power of suggestion. And look at what you were able to create. Wendy, you can start spending the money that you're going to make after selling that one. Corey, Tori, and Jenny, beautiful. Beautiful. I just love seeing how everybody's turns out. If we all painted the exact same, but we all used a different style palette knife, or some of us used a brush, some of us used a palette knife. All of those variety of things contribute to your own unique style. So if we were doing a paint along where you follow along and I say put red here, put blue here, if we were all using different tools, we would all end up with a different painting, even though I'm telling you where to put everything and how to do everything. And so that's just one of the varieties of making art unique. I've painted many paintings just with a cheap plastic scraper from Home Depot. And again, creates a completely unique look than what I did tonight. So there's just so many options. And what you have to do as an artist is decide what makes the most sense to you. Like I said in the beginning, I spent 30 years thinking I wasn't an artist because I compared myself to what everybody else did. Soon as I started painting for myself and painting the way that made sense to me, I still didn't think I was an artist, but I was so happy with my paintings. I wouldn't show anybody because they didn't look like everybody else's. And the point was, a friend of mine actually saw a painting of mine and encouraged me to take it to a gallery just to get their opinion of it. And it's a horrible feeling showing somebody your art, but it's a great learning process. Because I wasn't painting like everybody else, that's what the gallery loved. And so there was something fresh to the look. So that's, as an artist, that's what you want to do, is create something unique to you. Think about all of the great artists, Van Gogh, Monet, Andy Warhol, Jackson Pollock, Picasso. They all painted in a way that made sense to them. And they created art in their own unique style. And that's what made people excited about their artwork.
Speaking of artwork, someone just made a comment in the chat that just reminded me. One thing I forgot to mention is if you could, what am I trying to say? Post on Instagram. If you have Instagram, you can post a picture of your painting or paintings, because we love, and then tag us so that we can be notified when you have that, and then we can also post it to our story if you tag us in a post or a story at Buffalo Boughton.
If you have a private account and you add it to your story, it just creates a little bit of a challenge for us. So let us know, give us permission to post it. So what we'll do is take a screenshot and then put it up in our stories.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
But if you don't want it posted, let us know also.
Yeah, exactly.
Here, I'm talking like I know what I'm doing.
So far you're on point, Jeff.
I won't let it go to my head, Jake.
Okay, good. But we just love seeing everyone's paintings and the variety, like Jeff was saying, everybody's style, and different styles. Seeing that the variety is really cool.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you. So is it? You know what's funny, Nicole? So this is the honest truth. If everybody showed their painting right now, what we naturally do is we look at everybody else's artwork and go, oh, look at how nice their artwork is. But guess what? Everybody's looking back at your artwork and saying, oh, look at how nice Nicole's painting is. So we're critics of ourselves. And you have to, one of the nice things about looking at your painting with a camera, it also helps you disconnect from it. Because you've been looking at it and working on it and you're being critical of it, but that camera lens really helps remove that from there.
Was this that's what Nicole said, this is her very first time painting. That's awesome. That's awesome.
So Nicole, you're a great example, because I bet you have a lot of ideas of what art is, right? And because you can't, in your mind, you think I can't do a stick figure, so I'm not an artist. I think that's all I did was stick figure drawings tonight through my whole painting process. Oh, come on. That's
Well, that's
awesome.
awesome.
All right, wait. Nicole, we hold it up for a second. And be honest. Everybody be honest.
Hold on. Can I spotlight your video, Nicole? Is that all right? So everyone can see. All right. Hold on. Spotlight. All right, look at that.
Look at how nice that painting is. Seriously.
That is awesome.
That could easily be in a gallery. All right, so you want to really feel good about your artwork? Jake, can you pull up a Joan Mitchell painting?
Yeah.
After seeing Nicole's, I'm feeling bad about my own painting now.
I didn't want to say anything, Jeff, but
I know. Thank you.
yeah, let's see if I can get one for sale.
So this is really what told me that I can go out into the art world and get away with anything. I was in a bookstore going in the art section. Remember, I liked art, but I didn't think I was an artist. And all of a sudden, this book was on the shelf. I opened it up. All of Joan, not Joni Mitchell, the singer. This is Joan Mitchell. And I stood there in the bookstore and I just couldn't believe it. I knew now I can be an artist.
Hold on a sec here. Almost got it.
Waiting.
All right, I'm just gonna give up on getting. Oh wait, here's one. All right, it's loading here. Okay, here we go.
All right, anybody see the prices?
I don't know what
What? That one, the sale price is $65 million.
well, that's not. That's in.
Oh,
That's in not yen, but it's a different currency.
yeah. I see now. Man,
These are only 9 million, Jeff.
that's crazy.
That one's almost 8 million. That one's almost 9.5.
All right. I was just going to say that, Kathy and Gary, how do you feel about your painting now? Hey, Jake, will you buy that for me?
Sure.
Thanks.
I might need to borrow some money.
Ask your
But,
dad.
I'll pay it back in IOUs.
Yeah.
I would never want to cheat you out of it, you know.
Thanks, Jake.
I'll
It's a good
always
thing
owe it
that
to you.
bidding has been closed on that one because
Oh, sick. I need your credit card number ready to go.
so isn't that interesting? That's art. So having fun with art, she decided that scribbling with paint with different colors, some of the colors blended together, some of it was pure colors. She's using the same kind of process that we all use tonight. But the idea behind her paintings was a landscape. So if you look at more and more of her paintings, you'll realize she's basically painting sunflowers, but it's abstracted to the point of, at first sight, you don't even recognize it. So she would do gardens and stuff like that. And all it was just scribbled color on the canvas. But she built up a nice name for herself, and that's what her paintings sell for now.
All right, let's see. Someone who said that. I'm done with my painting. This is how it turned out. Hold on a sec. Oh, Sway's here. I gotta find you now.
Ada, it's beautiful.
Oh, Jeff saw it.
Yep. Actually, I think I love it the way it is. I was gonna make a little suggestion, but I decided, nope, I think I love it the way it is.
Very cool.
It reminds me of another famous artist named Milton Avery. And his prices are similar to the ones we just looked at of Joan Mitchell's. So that's what your painting reminded me of, Ada. Very nice job. So this painting process, we simplified everything. All we did is suggest. We used that power of suggestion. Remember, it's greater than the statement of reality. Again, if we would have painted perfect sunflowers, very realistic, it would have been a great painting. But the most that somebody will get into our painting is they'll admire the skill that went into it. However, this style of painting now gets them more involved. It actually gets them involved emotionally, because now they're starting to feel the sun. They're trying to imagine the day. What's the temperature? Are the sunflowers happy? They seem to be happy. So they make me happy. And so it's all these things that the power of suggestion is pulling the viewer into your painting. Monet, you look at his paintings, again, as he got older, he lost his sight, and all he could see was shapes and colors. But we get so pulled into his paintings. They're remarkable, even for the last 120 years, they're still fantastic. So again, remember that idea of Ernest Hemingway, for sale baby shoes, never worn. He got those men to get involved with the story. They all handed him their $10 and they said, you accomplished it. So the critics might say this style of painting is simple, doesn't take a lot of effort, but we have Hemingway on our side in this ideology. Any questions as you're painting? Yes, Jocelyn, I would love to see your painting.
Hey, Jeff.
Oh, Jocelyn. Okay, Jocelyn, you may have won. Look at her. Look at the centers of her flowers.
All right, wait.
Can we spotlight you, Jocelyn?
Let's see here. Oop, there. Okay, hold on one sec. There you go. Oh, awesome.
Look what she did.
It's like very, very beautiful, but also completely different style.
Yeah.
At the same time.
abstracted enough where it's more about the shapes and the colors and the suggestion. Yep, Jocelyn, you did an incredible job. Oh, somebody did it with watercolors. Yes, we'd love to see it.
All right, let's see here. I'm gonna find you here.
All right, who wrote that? Who did the watercolor? Is it Margarita?
Yeah, that was Margarita that did that. I am looking.
Beautiful.
Oh, there it is. All right, here, check this out.
Keep your painting up. Is it Beth? Keep your painting up.
Okay.
Oh man, the
Isn't that
lighting is holding it. It's hard for me to see because of the lighting. Let me try something. Nope, my bulb is up as bright as it'll go. Yeah, absolutely beautiful.
cool? Yeah, very cool.
I love the center of the flowers. And there's almost a blend of realism along with the abstraction.
Yeah.
Which goes to the theory of the more the contrast, the more interesting the painting is. Thank
Here's
you,
another one.
Jocelyn.
Yeah, thank you, Jocelyn.
Robin, absolutely beautiful.
Very cool.
Yeah, I love the balance of your sunflowers. It doesn't, I can easily float around the painting without there being a distraction or a magnet that pulls my eye off the canvas.
All right, keep those paintings up.
Thank you,
Barb.
Kathy and Gary. Thank you for joining us.
All right, here's a couple more, Jeff.
Beautiful, Barb.
Oh yeah.
Oh wait, oh man, I wish there was better lighting. Yep.
Yeah, but
You
those
might
are
as well
cool.
go on Amazon right now and start picking out things to buy with all the money that you're going to have from that sale.
Oh,
Amy,
yeah,
can you spotlight Amy
yeah.
right there? Whoops. Breaking your equipment here, Jake.
Oh boy.
Amy, home run. Is that oil or acrylic? Acrylic? Yeah, that one's sold.
Awesome.
Be very proud of that one.
We're getting good at reading lips, Jeff. Let's see here.
Sharon.
All right, here's Sharon's.
Beautiful, Sharon.
One sec here. Very
Absolutely cool. Beautiful. Do you know what that one needs? Is it on a board? Oh, what happened?
Oh, I accidentally. There we go.
I think if you put a dark frame on that, it is going to just, it's going to jump out like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah. Very cool.
Perfect, Sarah. That one's sold. Bye, Bridger. Thank you for joining us tonight. Nice. Oh, he's gone.
Are we gonna do another one, Jeff? Do you think, or are we done for this this evening?
It's up to, what time is it?
It is
Oh.
6:09 or not 6:09, whatever time it is.
So what
there.
we could do is do a 20-minute sunflower painting if you guys wanted. Annie Ingram. Good night, Annie. So the idea with a 20-minute painting is now you have no choice but to trust your intuition and apply paint. Seriously, your intuition is going to say, go dark, go warmer, go cooler. And that's what's going to lead you through the painting. So we walked through this painting. We're familiar with all the steps. So if we wanted to do a quick paint, it'll be interesting. Sometimes your painting will turn out better than the one that you went through in a very slow, methodical way. But what I want to encourage you to do is do quick paints and do the slower, methodical ones. Keep doing them back and forth. What happens is your personal style slowly comes out of the process. So you're using what you know. You're using what makes sense in both processes, but one is just more almost by feel, by emotion, and the other one is more analytical, more methodical, cerebral. So let's see here. Let's see do some thumbs up if you wanted to try that. Gonna try it? So if you have a piece of cardboard, if you don't have another canvas, if you have a piece of cardboard, Nicole, are you leaving? Thank you for joining us tonight. I love what you did. I want you to hang that on your wall and have your friends over. Show if you Zoom, show your friends, see what they think. They'll probably go, "Hey, where did you get that Van Gogh painting?" I think message me later, Nicole. All right, give me a thumbs up if you guys want to paint for 20 more minutes. We got to quickly whip out this painting. Bye, Ada. Thank you for joining us. Nice job tonight. Even if you don't want to paint, stay on and just see the results. You'll see the benefits of painting this way. All right, so are we all in? I haven't seen one thumb yet. All right, so I'm gonna switch out my stuff here. Don't forget to sign your painting. Jake will be our official timer.
Yep. I'm pretty good at that. I've been practicing.
Hey, Jake, you know what? I bought
What?
my dog a Rolex. Now he
Rolex?
truly is a watchdog.
Oh man. Oh boy. Jeff found the dad jokes on Instagram again.
Yep. Hey, so Jake, you said that 50 Cent played at the halftime show?
Yes.
Isn't it interesting that he played after 2 quarters?
You saw that one too? Oh man.
I don't know my own jokes. I just recycle them.
There's too many 50 Cent jokes.
I heard that 50 Cent and Nickelback are touring together.
Oh no. Yeah, what is
It's only 45 cents to watch the show.
Oh man.
All right, I'm gonna get some gloves on. All right, you have all your paint out there? Now remember, we can use all the mud colors that are already on our palette. So if you squirted out too much paint, mix it all together, make a mud, and then that'll be your starting for the next painting. All right, so I'm gonna try to tint my painting first with that process. So maybe definitely give us 20, or maybe we should give us a minute to tint our canvas. How about that?
All right, should I just do 21 minutes?
Or you can just wait a minute. Man.
Are you trying to keep this nice and quick? No. All right. I'll wait. I'll let you know when I start the timer. Are you ready to go yet, Jeff?
Oh, you can take, so I'm working with oils, but if you want, you can also take acrylic paint and tone the back of your painting, or you can do it with oils, obviously. Another cool trick, this canvas is really loose. You got stretched out somehow. How you can tighten it back up is just take a water mist bottle or even a sponge with water, a rag with water, and dab the back. Get the back of the canvas wet, and it'll tighten up again since it's cotton.
That's interesting. All right, how's everybody doing for painting their whole canvas? Thumbs up when you're ready, if you're painting along. All right, getting a few thumbs up. All right.
So before you start, Jake, I'm actually going to have more fun with this painting and abstract it more. So I'm really going to push that idea of the power of suggestion. So that just some encouragement if you want to kind of think about that same thing. Now we remember the process. We're going to kind of throw on our center buttons. Make sure that they feel right, the balance is right with them. Some bigger ones, smaller ones. And then just start building the painting from there. Remember, your greens, you can have a variety of greens. Make sure you add just a little bit of red to some of those greens, and that's going to enhance it. Are we ready? All right, Jake, you tell us, you start the timer.
Oh boy. All right. All right, ready or not? I'm gonna start in. Are you ready, Jeff?
Yep. I'm picturing my imaginary sunflower field right now.
All right. 3, 2, 1. And I'll let you know every 5 minutes or so with how much time's left. All right, we're right around 15 minutes left. All right, around 10 minutes left. All right, just right around 5 minutes left.
Okay.
All right, right around 2 minutes left.
Oh.
All right, that is 20 minutes right there.
There we go. All right, So maybe you didn't get the painting done, but did it make you loosen up a little bit? And did you like how you started? You had no choice but to use your intuition. So again, it's a great way to paint because it's that power of suggestion. All right, anybody want to show their painting? Oh, there's one. Okay, 1 second.
Oh,
Beautiful, Robin. Oh, Robin, that is a knockout.
awesome.
It does everything that we want it to do. It leaves out the details, so now we have to fill in all the rest of the detail. Perfect. All right, oh, is it Elise Kenyon? Am I saying that right? Eloise? Eloise? Close enough?
Here.
That is, seriously, that belongs in a gallery.
That is awesome.
You could easily sell that painting. Beautiful job.
Let's move this guy.
Becky,
All right, let's see.
absolutely beautiful. Look at the grasses that Becky did.
Oops.
I mean, that is bordering on realism with the abstraction. Awesome.
Super cool.
All right, who else is? Oh man, I wish the late Rachel. They're so dark.
I think, yeah, just with that ceiling light is making your camera go dark.
Yep.
Since it's behind it, I think. But let's see if we can.
They look wonderful. Oh, right there, right
Yeah.
there. Hold them at a slight angle. Now tilt it towards there you go. Right there. Yeah, excellent.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you can tell those are cool.
Actually, Rachel, can I use you as an example for something? Where is your painting? There was one of the paintings. I'm going to just use it as an example for having the conversation. All right, so it's the one on the left. The other one. I'm sorry.
Other left.
The other left. All right, so if you look at it, look at the camera or look at the screen and then look at your painting. Do you see in that middle top flower how a little bit of the brown escapes? So that's what I mean by a conversation. So if you can see that, at least from my camera angle, so I noticed that the little center brown button all of a sudden escapes out by the leaves, by the petals, I mean. Do you see that or am I going crazy? Yes, yep, that's it right there. So now set it down and see if that attracts your eye also. If it attracts your eye, then you know there's something that you got to do something about it. But that's what I mean by having the conversation, is if in that subconscious mind, if something doesn't make sense, making an adjustment on it. Oh no.
What's that?
Someone just joined.
Oh. Oh, we're getting a ton of.
So
People
I might be
tagging us.
crazy, but I think I'm gonna go down a limb and say I like your second paintings better. Not saying that it's oh, look at this. Mariah and Marie, beautiful. That is
Okay.
exactly what I'm hoping for. Just taking some risks, and they turned out fantastic. Color
Very cool.
is a powerful motivator for selling paintings. All right.
Get some more messages here.
Thank you, Barb.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Mariah and Marie, those are beautiful. Look at the fun you can have with color.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right, so what's next week's class, Jake? I just show up, Jake is my boss.
Well, Jeffrey, I think it's chickens. Let me just confirm that though.
Oh, nice job, Mariah.
Let's see here. Loading. Holy moly, we're getting a ton of people.
Thank you, Becky.
Yes.
All right,
All right.
Oh, wow. Yeah, very dreamy. There's a very dreamy feel to it.
Okay.
Love
Yeah.
the colors in it.
Oh, she said this is my mom's. Okay. Those are cool. Super cool. Okay, so chickens are
Mariah,
next,
you make sure
Monday.
you tell your mom what a great job she did. She really did.
Seriously, yeah.
So again, look at how everybody's turned out differently. We painted the same subject, same foundation as far as how we were going to approach it. But I just love how our creative side came out and made something fantastic. So it was all just that idea of principles, the power of suggestion, and look at the fantastic paintings that came out of it. And if you're looking at your painting, you're thinking, boy, I wish my painting looked like that other painting. I promise somebody's looking back at yours going, boy, I wish mine would have turned out that way.
Yep.
That's fear is the biggest enemy of an artist, because from the whole process is fear driven. Looking at that white canvas, if we start a painting and it doesn't turn out, we just wasted materials, we wasted our time. You know, if I'm going to show it to somebody, are they going to point and laugh at it? Thank you, Robin. You know, and so it's the whole process. Art is so personal, and then we feel like we're being critiqued when it's shown to other people. But your paintings turned out so good. You have every reason to be very proud. Yeah, perfect, Rachel. Bye, Eloise. Right, Tatiana. Rachel, that was perfect. That did it.
Very nice. Yeah, so chickens are next week.
Okay. So same process. We might do a little sketching beforehand. If you've taken the chicken class before, we'll switch it up a little bit, make it a new chicken, a rooster or a chicken of some sort, and make them fun again. But we'll approach it with the same process, simplifying it and the power of suggestion.
And while there's not very many people on right now, but I thought I just mentioned we have our what's it called, auction, weekly auction we're doing. And
Oh, that's right.
I haven't posted the things yet, but on Instagram, that's where it is. We're doing Instagram live, and those have become to be a lot of fun. Seems like everybody's really enjoying them. Jeff and I are having a blast. We're just saying,
Laughing the whole
hey,
time.
we're just laughing the whole time. People are making fun of us. It's basically just a roast. So if you want to come by and roast us.
It's like the dunk tank at the carnival.
Yes, it's like the dunk tank. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Those are, yeah. It's like, it really is. It's like laughing therapy. After that, I just feel like, I don't know. It's a lot of fun.
It adds 5 years onto your life.
It does.
Laughing so hard.
You feel rejuvenated after it, and
Hey,
kind of exhausted.
Yeah, no kidding. Does anybody have any questions? Connie, are you going to show us your painting? Oh, you heard me. I saw your eyes go up.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to stop this.
Bye, Sharon. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, shit. I think she has a question. Hold on. Let me stop let me stop the let me stop the recording. Hold on.